se están trasladando a las mil ideas. Sense aseguranza. Sense aseguranza. That is adorable, Albert. No, tell me more. Athens sounds amazing. I'd love to go someday. Don't you agree, Mr. Morcef? Hey, didn't you have business dealings in Athens? Don't look so surprised, Morcef. I've had my eye on you for quite some time. Although I did lose track of you for a few years there. What did you do in those few years? I'm kidding. I kid hard. I'm sorry. Anyway, did I hear that dinner is ready? Excellent. Albert, dear, I have to use the restroom. If you could just serve me a little bit of everything, that would be lovely. Thank you. Being straight is so exhausting. How do straight people do this, like, all the time? All the time. I don't get it. Doesn't matter anyway. I only have a few minutes before that twerp Albert comes looking for me. Second Marquess de Monsieur here. This is Burning Questions, and this is Chateau de Morcef. Yeah, that's actually how it's listed. Morcef, if you haven't figured it out yet, is my former assistant, and he has made real good since I've been away. So we're at dinner, and I've excused myself. So while we're here, let's do some questions so we can get this show on the road, huh? Okay, I'm going to need a little clarification. Are we talking from India, or are we talking Native American? If we're talking from India, then I would say definitely the radical concept of zero, and in fact our entire number system. Which, you say that, and, zero doesn't seem like such a big deal until you start getting into bigger numbers. Let me ask you a question. How do you depict a million of anything without using zeros? Yeah, it's complicated. So, as it turns out, Hindi numerals were adopted by Arab traders who then let that knowledge filter into Renaissance Europe and basically made all of math and science doable. If we're talking about Native Americans, though, I would ask you which ones, because the Mayans had a wickedly accurate solar calendar. The Inca were performing routinely successful 80% of brain surgeries in the Inca territories survived, and that's impressive. They also had dentistry, and the Haudenosaunee have an acknowledged role in forming the U.S. Constitution. They proved that a democratic federation could peacefully coexist and be matrilineal in a time where most of Europe couldn't stop fighting with each other long enough to avoid getting a whipping from Salah-ad-Din. Oh well, I didn't start off to be a social justice warrior. It really came about when I realized that I was trans and gay, and that was a very hard road to hoe if you're not transparently an expert in something. So I kind of ended up joining the fight out of necessity. As for how I help out, when I was in college, I was the only out trans person transitioning at the time. And my transition was contentious, and well, more contentious than the overall demeanor would lead you to believe. If the guy who threatened to kill me on Yik Yak is listening to this, I know, and I wasn't scared. So because of all that, I was invited to be on the school's transgender policy task force because they didn't have one before that. And then from there, I was asked to do a presentation on transgender employment issues to some business students, to several classes of business students. And eventually, I ended up giving a similar presentation to a group of HR professionals who were uniformly aghast that the situation was as bad as it is. They just thought that no trans people were applying for jobs, which is ridiculous. And to a lesser extent, I use this channel to kind of normalize transgender people and transgender behaviors. And I end up talking a lot about LGBTQ issues, but I try to focus on trans issues because you don't own a fight that's not yours. See? No. I don't know how many times and how many ways I have to answer this question. No. Whether or not people are sexually attracted to you does not have any bearing at all on your sexuality. You are attracted to who you are attracted to, and that's all there is. And honestly, this is toxic masculinity, because if you can't pull women, and I know this for a fact, if you can't pull women, when you're in high school, which, by the way, everybody's lying in high school. Nobody's getting as much sex as they say they are. But if you can't pull women in high school, then your friends are going to call you. Well, guess what? A, like I said, nobody's pulling that many women. And B, it doesn't make you gay. The only thing that makes you gay is the desire to sleep with your same sex. That's it. And only if it's exclusive. That's it. Can we please stop asking this question? No, didn't think so. No, Albert, no. Tell me more. Oh, God, you must take me to Athens sometimes. Well, Milau Elenika, so it should be fine, right? Morcef, who was your business contact in Athens, by the way? Was it Ali Pasha? Oh, terrible thing about Ali Pasha. Kidnapped by Algerian slavers. He and his daughter both. Sold on the streets of Algiers. I tried. I was there. I tried to free them, but I didn't have the money. God, I can still see their faces. It's like there was another man there. He looked a lot like you, Morcef. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that looks exactly like you, Morcef. Here. Albert, Mercedes, don't you think so? You know what, Morcef, you're right. These things can be forged. Fortunately, I brought receipts. I'm sorry to tell you this, Albert, Mercedes. This is how Morcef made his fortune, selling his business partner and daughter into slavery. Where are you guys going? Yeah, the hiding is probably best. I'll take care of this. Morcef, it's just you and me. The police are on their way. Haida, the daughter, she filed a suit against you. Yeah, I manumitted her sometime after that. I've gotten quite good at it. Yeah, she was not happy. I'm sure you have questions, Morcef. Burning questions. I'll give you one. Who am I? Morcef, have you not figured that out yet? I'm the second Marquess de Croque-Monsieur, Sophia-Helene Mees de Tricht. Yeah, now you get it. I'm not a cruel woman, Morcef. Along with my punishment, I've brought you a choice. Your fate. Do with it what you will. I want no part of it. Finally over. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon, Riley Dosh, Lily Patterson, Scarlett DeLeon, Tessa Norris, and Tara Nitka. If you like the video, please hit like and subscribe and click the bell to get notified when we have more and new videos. Please follow the show on Facebook, where we'll do twice weekly live streams during the season and once weekly live streams during the hiatus. If you want to help make the show better and to help make more and more entertaining shows, please consider following us on Patreon. Link is in the description for that. And also in the description you'll find links to all the questions on Quora, as well as more of my work both on Quora and on Vocal. Please feel free to check them out. And join me next week for the season finale, where I'm going to talk about this season a little bit. I'm going to answer a few questions, and I'm going to, as a wrap-up, kind of reveal what I've been doing all season long, for those who haven't gotten it yet. What's this? A wedding invitation? A wedding invitation? Whose wedding invitation is this?